Welcome back. You all right there? Did you just break all the eggs?
No. Yeah. No, carry on. Shh, this is
Welcome
not
back.
live.
We're
That's
into
the main
autumn. So prepare for pumpkin, spices and cranberries to land their way into your menu.
Chef Brian McDermott from the Foyle Hotel in Donegal joins us, and he's making his own autumnal favourite, a harvest time carrot cake. Good morning, Chef.
Good morning, folks.
Now,
Morning,
what's
Brian.
the difference? This isn't a traditional carrot cake, then,
It's
is
not
it?
because it's too boring just to do that, and it's easy as well. So with apples in abundance at the moment, I'm going to chop them up and just literally chuck them in there with some warmed spice as well, because we're going into that time of year. Temperatures dipping,
Yeah.
Spices lift the internal temperature, and it gives you a great excuse to eat cake.
I see why you'd put spices in, but with apples, would that not take away from the taste of carrot?
No, because it's going to add to the sweetness of it, and you need that sourness as well. And then the lovely icing that we're going to put on the top of it is beautiful and creamy.
Now, in terms of the type of apple, then, what are you going for?
I'm going for a sweet. I'm going for a pink lady deliberately.
Oh, yeah, love pink ladies.
Lovely.
But whatever you have, I mean, they're growing plentiful at the moment.
Okay.
So what I have in here is 5 eggs and 500 grams of caster sugar. So I've already spent some time bringing that up, so it's nice and light, and that's ideal. Because
And it's important to spend time, isn't it?
It is. And the key to that is keep your eggs at room temperature as well, because you'll get that nice lightness in there. Because what looks like just a load of sugar and 5 eggs,
And you want that to turn white,
you
basically,
do.
don't
You want it
Chef?
to turn what we call like a nice sabayon. And then we're going to add to this the plain flour and just a pinch of bicarbonate of soda, which is going to rise this cake ever so slightly. And then the 2 spices.
Do you need this again?
I don't actually.
Good,
No.
because I've just
well.
taken the things out. I'm trying to be helpful.
you're
You know.
smart.
You're
Yeah,
wrecking the kitchen today.
I'm trying to help you, Chef, that's all.
Can we bring Tommy back? No, really?
Nah, he's gone.
Is it over, is it?
Yeah,
You said
it's
no.
over.
We catch them Tuesdays.
So what else went in there,
I've got
Chef?
some allspice and cinnamon, so that's what I was talking about in terms of the
Smell.
temperature, just to rise that up a bit, and it's just beautiful, almost Christmassy, but I don't want to say it yet.
That's
It's too
yeah,
early.
just
No, no,
It's
no,
too
no.
early in the season. So we're going to sieve this in because you need to lighten up the flour. Always sieve flour where you have an opportunity to do it. Why? It lightens it up, keeps your cake lovely and light. And secondly, it'll take out anything that may have just presented itself in there, because flour's a dust and it sits in our cupboard and we don't use it maybe for
Yes, that's
a couple
very
of months.
true, yeah.
And then we're going to fold this in, and that's why I've taken away, or rather, Simon, you've taken away the mixer.
I have, yes. Sorry, Chef.
So we're going to fold this in, and it's going to get like a nice thick batter. And then what we'll add to that is a damn good drizzle of rapeseed oil.
Can I ask you, Brian, because you're folding it in manually, but actually there's method to that.
Yeah.
Last week, Simon and I had a chat.
Yeah.
I was making one of his recipes, and I had complained that it was too flat, and you said it's because I used the mixer on it, and I should have done it manually.
Correct.
Yeah.
You need.
You're going to keep the air
sometimes-
in there. You see, that's no flute that Brian's doing that. Is it sure? You're folding that in to keep that nice and light.
Totally, because the mixture with the eggs is going to lighten it up, get the air into it. Folding it in is going to ensure you don't collapse.
That's a whole heap of rapeseed oil in there, Chef.
That's a damn good amount.
Just to keep it moist.
It is, and what happens is it's a real slow cook of a cake. So it's almost like a muffin, and that's also the difference in this as a mix. So the spices are in there. I'm getting them coming through. Carrot, just grate it up, okay? I've used it very fine. You can use it coarse if you wish, because it will disintegrate as it bakes
How
through.
many carrots do you pop in there now?
Yeah, about 2 large
Okay.
ones, yeah, in and around that.
And then your pink lady.
Your pink lady with the skin on, notice
A
as well.
couple of apples and 2 apples, say?
2 good big apples,
Skin
or
on?
3 small, yeah, and that's
Okay.
delivered. It'll hold a bit of a presence through the cake.
Is that not going to make it more moist or too wet because you've all the oil as well as the
Well,
apple?
this typically is a really slow bake, bubbly style of a
Okay.
cake, which is deliberate for what I want to achieve. Now, look at the carrot and the colour going through that.
Can
just
I
the
ask you a question,
orangeness.
Chef?
Of course you can.
Because I've often seen this on a certain baking programme that we all know and love. When they're putting fruit into a cake, into a sponge, is there something we need to do to stop all that fruit dropping down to the bottom?
If it's dried fruit, it's a great question, because if it's dried fruit you've taken out of the press, you need to absorb it, basically bring it out in an alcohol or some warm water for about 20 minutes.
Because it'll just drop otherwise. And you want a bit
Completely.
of spread of fruit through
Particularly
the cake.
in muffins that we've mentioned, because they will just deliberately go to the bottom, and you'll end up looking to find your lovely blueberries.
What did you pop in just there?
Walnuts, chopped walnuts.
Oh.
Okay, because we've got this both in the icing afterwards and in the cake. Now, just one last tip before we bake this. Well,
Yeah.
2, turn on your oven,
Yeah,
firstly.
that's a handy, yeah.
Yeah, that's always helpful. I'll give you that, Simon.
Thank you very much,
And then
Chef.
just
You're
if you
very
have a
kind.
little bit on the sides, make sure you wipe that away, because see if that small amount burns. The smell of burning in the oven just wrecks the entire cake. So it's
Really?
170 degrees for 1 hour and about 20 minutes on this.
That's a long time.
That is, isn't it? An hour and 20.
And it won't dry out because of all the oil.
It's going to bubble,
See,
but
there's method to his madness.
yeah, and don't panic looking in at it and thinking, God, that's bubbling up and it's really moist. So what we have here is I've split the cake that has come out, the top layer and the bottom
And you
layer.
presumably need to let that cool until you
Yes.
start cutting into it.
Yep, and look at the walnuts, look at the carrot through it, and the bits of apple, which is what we want. So
Beautiful.
now the gorgeous icing, because this to me is important.
Now this is what you were interested in. You like the sound of this.
So what I've done here is I've taken just some cream cheese, I've softened that up deliberately, and you need a bit of butter in with this, and just take your mixer again, or a whisk, if it's already soft, mix both of them together and take the zest of an orange, because the zest of an orange will give this just a different dimension completely.
Yeah.
Okay, and when we've that whisked together, we're literally just going to put a layer in the middle of the cake, Simon.
Beautiful.
Sandwich it on top, and this will come together very, very quickly now. But you're right in pointing out, Anna, just to cool the cake down as well. So not too much in the centre, by the way.
Brian, why do you think it is when you go into any decent cafe around the country, there's lemon drizzle cake and there's carrot cake?
Yeah, yeah.
Why is it up there with
They're
our
just
favourites?
so popular.
Yeah,
they're
they're just-
instantly
Of all the cakes,
recognisable.
though, in the world you could be making, why this one?
Well, I love this one personally,
Yeah.
and it's got the creaminess, it's got the moisture kind of inside it, and the main reason why you're going to see it popped in a coffee shop is that it's got a good long shelf life because of the oil that's in it. To be
very
quite
good,
honest,
yeah.
so you could make this today, and you'll easily be eating. Well, you wouldn't in our house be eating it by Wednesday.
No,
but
you wouldn't. No.
You'll be
You're
eating
not
it
gonna
by
be
6
eating-
o'clock.
We'll be eating it by 12 o'clock here.
So that's the top gone on that, and loads of the icing just back on, and I'm just going to deliberately make sure that that's kind of rough and rustic.
Lovely.
You know,
And I
rustic
think it's
is a good word.
comforting, as cakes are. I don't know why that word
yeah,
comes
yeah.
to mind,
And
but
as Brian said, we're adding in those little spices as well, a little bit of heat in there.
And to finish this off, we're going to put walnuts, which gives this beautiful texture as well. And I mean,
I was never a big fan of carrot cake until Mrs. Delaney introduced me to it.
really...
you said
Yeah.
earlier it's her
Amazing.
favourite,
I
Simon,
used to
isn't
love
it?
carrot cake, yeah.
So there'll be 2 slices going down the road later.
Well, they'll be going down the
They'll
road.
be
They
going
might
down
make
the
it home.
if they make it. And a good chop of the walnuts over the top of that. I mean,
Oh, lovely.
imagine arriving at someone's house tomorrow for a lunch with
With a
that.
cup
So
of tea,
impressive.
with a
Oh, my
cup of
God.
tea,
Yeah.
Brian.
Wouldn't it be beautiful?
That was gorgeous.
And then when we get to the centre of this, okay, we want to see the nice layers in between.
Okay.
And I mean, look, that's just cutting immediately.
beautiful,
And it's just
yeah.
so soft. Oh,
And
can't
yet
wait.
it's light enough, even with that amount of icing on it, which
Yeah,
is great.
I mean,
That's
look.
what you want.
That is something that I'd be quite happy with. A lovely cup of coffee.
I've just
We're
heard those
salivating
magic
here.
words in my ear. Time to taste.
Brilliant.
Let's do it, Brian. Now, have we got nice forks, spoons, a ladle? I don't care. I'll use a wooden spoon.
We will give you a
This is
nice
the slice
I think
there.
Laura should have the first slice.
Now,
Brian,
look at that.
thanks so much.
Ladies
Don't
first.
forget to check out our website.
Thank you, Chef.
Thank you, virginmediatelevision.com /weekend AM for our recipe details. Or as ever, you can call into Brian at the Foyle Hotel in Donegal to try everything for yourself.
Now,
Thank you.